Summer camp. Lots of swimming, trying new things like karate.
This piece in the side.
Arts and crafts on a rainy day, or a rousing game of capture the flag. And while they do all of that and much more at Camp Surefire, the kids here also continually monitor what they eat and test their blood sugar levels. That's because every camper here has type 1 diabetes, what used to be called juvenile diabetes. For some of the campers, it's all they've ever known.
These kids come in here and they look around and they know that everybody is in the same boat. And they don't have to, nobody's embarrassed about anything. Their meters come out, their insulin shots, they don't really care. It's really fantastic.
Dr. Gregory Fox was an endocrine fellow at Hasbro Children's Hospital 13 years ago when he heard they needed a medical director at the camp, now in its 15th season. They call it Surefire because early on, somebody said the camp was a surefire way to learn about diabetes. The families pay on a sliding scale, with donations and grants helping subsidize the costs. It started out as a single weekend with 25 kids at a campsite in Coventry and has since expanded to 5 days. 3 years ago, they moved to URI's Alton Jones campus in West Greenwich, and now have 80 campers, 25 counselors, a group of URI pharmacy students, and a medical team of about a dozen that provides around-the-clock coverage. It's a year-round planning process to prepare.
Kids just don't show up with their backpacks and start for the session. They have all the medical supplies, so we work with medical supply companies, insulin companies. We have, medical volunteers to recruit. We have nurses and nutritionists. We have a full nutrition menu that we need to incorporate around not only the diabetes, but more than 10% of our kids have celiac disease as well.
For an outsider, it doesn't take long to see that diabetes is a 24/7 condition that requires a lot of attention.
Something that you or I take for granted. We eat something, our pancreas does the job, our blood sugar stays in a very, very tight range. Kids with diabetes, if they eat too much, their blood sugar is going to go very, very high, and that can make them sick. Or if they take their insulin and they don't eat enough, their blood sugar is going to go very, very low.
That's why a good portion of each day revolves around meals. All the carbs are listed, portions carefully measured, and everything counted and calculated. Blood glucose testing is built into the schedule 4 times a day and always available as needed, as it was during the Capture the Flag game on a hot day early in the week.
It's a constant balancing act. So really these kids, every time they eat something, they need to think about it. And they need to give themselves insulin for it, whether they're on a pump or getting injections. There's no free meals ever.
If they don't truly know how diabetes is caused, how will they discover a cure?
Fox holds a session with the younger kids called Diabetes Fishbowl, where they can ask any question, writing it down and submitting it anonymously.
My general philosophy is the more you know about your diabetes, the better you can care for your diabetes. Education happens at every single level. I mean, a lot of it is just by being here. And so yes, the kids are definitely, when they're home, they're living that life, but everybody does it in a different way. And so you have some people that are very intense and very focused on counting every carbohydrate and checking their blood sugar many times a day. And you have some kids that aren't doing as well, or their families don't give them as much support. And when they come here, everybody's on a level playing field.
Many of the campers have been coming here for years, some now moving into leadership positions.
What is it like coming to a place where you don't have to explain diabetes to
anybody? I love it here because, I don't know, just like nobody stares at you funny when you're testing your blood sugar or asking you questions about what's a pump. It's just, I don't know, I feel normal here.
Everybody is being normal kids and not acting like, oh, we have to be all so scared, oh, make sure nobody sees that we have diabetes. We just be free. We can do everything that a normal kid does, and we just have fun.
And they vent too. They vent about those kids at school that are picking on them or, giving them grief about checking their blood sugars. And so they have an opportunity to kind of get together and bond.
This year, the campers also got a visit from Chris Freeman, an Olympic cross-country skier who has diabetes. He talked about not letting it get in the way of anything the kids want to do. The slogan on his shirt says it all. Diabetes doesn't go away at camp, it just doesn't stand in the way. Most of the kids here are from Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, but some come from as far away as New York.
The LITs will be setting the tables this morning.
Dustin Baker grew up in East Greenwich and now lives in Pittsburgh. Baker, the camp's program director, is one of the few who does not have diabetes.
And immediately what hit me was the respect that I have for them, for managing it and doing everything they have to do to keep it under control. I think a lot of people who don't have diabetes just hear about it and go, oh, okay. Don't think about all the things that they have to do at mealtime to keep their blood sugars in check, everything they have to do before they go to sleep.
Fox says as much as the kids enjoy camp, it is equally important for their parents, many of whom have spent years getting up in the middle of the night to monitor their child's blood glucose levels. Fox and the medical staff rotate overnight coverage at camp.
And that's one of our primary missions is for parents to maybe go away for the weekend or go do something and not have to worry, maybe get a good night's sleep all the way through the night. This is a respite for them because a lot of our kids don't get to go to sleepovers. If they don't have friends whose parents are comfortable or, their relatives don't feel comfortable, taking them. So these parents really, they're living it 24 hours a day. I talk to parents all the time that have woken up every night at 2 a.m. for the last 10 years. And their kid's a teenager and they're just so used to it that that's what they do because they don't want anything bad to happen to their child.
Fox says social media has helped connect the kids after camp ends, providing a support network throughout the school year.
That's all part of what we're looking to do is create relationships because a lot of times these kids do feel like they're alone. But, if they make one friend at camp that they can call when things are not going right or they've had a bad day and they grow up with and they have just that one person that gets it that they can call, then we've really done our job.
In West Greenwich, Jim Hummel for the Hummel Spotlight.